Good evening. Welcome to Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert. I'd like to thank you for joining me here this evening. We're going to be discussing some of the things in news today, over the weekend. And so welcome to this program tonight. Once again, my name is David Colbert. We'll be discussing today, first of all, we're looking at this thing that it just took place recently in regard to Roger Stone and the commuting of his sentence. It said in this article that I'm looking at right now, the way the U.S. government treated political advisor Roger Stone should scare every American, Trump 2020 senior advisor Corey Lewandowski warned Saturday. In an interview on Fox and Friends Weekend, Lewandowski told host Pete Hegseth and Griff Jenkins that Stone was treated very unfairly by special counsel Robert Mueller's prosecutors during the Russian investigation. They used more men to go and get Roger Stone than I think they used on Osama bin Laden raid, he said. It's just so happened that one of the networks was there to watch. One of the networks were there to watch. Okay, and then it says here, on Friday, President Trump announced that he had signed an executive grant of clemency commuting Stone's unjust sentence just days before he was set to report to prison. Stone was sentenced in February on 7 counts of obstruction, witness tampering, and making false statements to Congress. Stone, however, has appealed his conviction and continues to deny any wrongdoing, which of course I believe there was no wrongdoing done, judging by the Democratic Party that's always accusing us of falsehood. Look, Roger Stone was clearly targeted by an unfair prosecution, Lewandowski said. Look, I'm not the biggest fan of Roger Stone. I think you guys know that. But the way he was treated by the government should scare the heck out of people. Or the hell out of people, as he said, in every American. You know, they could do it to anybody. They could do it to you. Those of you who are listening to my artists, they could do it to anybody. So it's a very scary situation when you have them coming after citizens like Roger Stone and Mike Flynn. This president saw an injustice. He commuted the sentence, which is the right thing to do to make sure Roger has a fair trial and has a fair hearing. It's very important to our system, he continued. Lewandowski noted that because justice is blind, actors on both sides of the aisle should be held to account. Comey, Brennan, Clapper, McCabe, all the names we have known have never been brought to justice. It's time justice is blind. But those people need to be held accountable as well, he says. If Obama did it, it must be fine. When Trump does it, it's wrong. That's the Trump derangement syndrome, Mr. Lewandowski said, that the media and the left has had since he came down that big, beautiful golden escalator, Lewandowski concluded. Of course, you know we're going to have a bounce back from the House Democrats. So the House Democrats reacted furiously to President Trump's Friday move to commute prison sentence of political operative Roger Stone, demanding an investigation and even legislation to stop similar commutations happening again. President Trump's decision, they said, to commute the sentence of top campaign advisor Roger Stone, who could directly implicate him in criminal misconduct. This is coming from liberal mouth. It's coming out. I'm reading here. Criminal misconduct is an act of staggering corruption. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says, of course. Democrat California said in a statement on Saturday. Trump commutes Roger Stone's sentence days before prison term set to begin. Yes, he does. She went on to promise that Congress would take action to prevent future such commutations. Legislation is needed to ensure that no president can pardon or commute the sentence of an individual who is engaged in cover-up. Oh my goodness. What about President Obama? Did y'all come after him like that when he was commuting his little sentence and things that he was doing? No. Campaign, he said to cover up, campaign to shield the president from criminal prosecution. Come on, they're still going back to 2016, trying to insist that something was wrong with the way that thing was handled. Same thing. They're investigating the President of the United States or the candidate Trump, and they're still coming up with the same garbage that they always do. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back at you in a moment. You're watching Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert. Welcome back to Black Conservative with David Colbert. The White House announced Friday, though, that Trump has signed an executive grant of clemency for the colorful political operative who was sentenced to more than 3 years in prison after he was convicted last year on 7 counts of obstruction, witness tampering, and making false statements to Congress in relation to the FBI Special Counsel Robert Mueller Russian investigation. I wonder about all the false statements that were made by Adam Schiff when they were going through this sham impeachment thing. Well, are we going to arrest him on that? We're going to arrest him for obstructing the Republican Party from normal terms and disobeying the orders set forth by the Congress on the rules of justice in the Congress. When are we going to do something about him? We need to do something about him. Matter of fact, if he gets thrown out of office, we need to do something to see if we can start prosecution on Mr. Schiff or Shifty Schiff. Stone, who has appealed the conviction and denies wrongdoing, was due to report to prison on July 14th to serve 40 months, but the White House said the president had commuted the sentence in light of egregious facts and circumstances surrounding his unfair prosecution, arrest, and trial. Roger Stone is a victim of the Russian hoax that the left and its allies in the media perpetrated for years in an attempt to undermine the Trump presidency. White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany said in a statement Friday night, there was never any collusion between the Trump campaign or the Trump administration with regard to Russia. Such collusion was never anything other than a fantasy of partisan, unable to accept the result of the 2016 election. The White House also cited medical risk as a reason for commutation given Stone's age in his coronavirus pandemic. Okay, moving on. Also, Romney, the turncoat, I call him, the backstabber, the non-Republican, he should just go join the Democratic Party. And to me, he's a Democrat. He needs to get off the Republican Party. He's a spy for the Democrats. Romney accuses Trump of historic corruption after Roger Stone commutation. Mr. Romney, I'm ashamed of you. I'm ashamed that we ever voted you to office. He needs to get out of it. To me, the scripture says, and now since he's supposed to be a godly man, the scripture says a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. You come into the Republican Party standing up for what they believe in, and then you go back and you stab in the back any Republican you can get a hold to, and you start doing things for the Democratic Party. Then he goes on to say, but the decision angered the Democrats, suggesting not only a push for legislation, but another round of investigations for the House Judiciary Committee. I hope and pray we do not have this foolishness going on in our media once again, over and over again, trying to impeach Trump. Once he gets back in there again, there has to be something done about this foolishness, and I will address Congress, please, do not carry this garbage on. I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican. It makes no difference to me. this stuff of having these things to try to impeach our president is pure foolishness. In a statement, both Nadler and House Oversight Committee Chair Carol Maloney, a Democrat, another Democrat from New York, said they intend to seek an immediate briefing from the White House counsel on the circumstances surrounding Roger Stone's commutation. Give me a freaking break. Our president can't do anything without you rearing your ugly head, Satan, I'm sorry, rearing your ugly head to cause a problem. In addition, the Department of Justice should release grand jury materials related to Roger Stone and his communication with President Trump, the statement said. So now we're trying to get some more stuff. Now they're going to try to find some more whistleblowers to whistleblow. This is a darn joke. Lord help us. I'm calling upon our constituents, the voters, the Democrats and Republican voters, please vote these idiots out of office, please. Trump, however, was defiant in his decision. Roger Stone was targeted by an illegal witch hunt, such as our president would, that never should have taken place, Trump tweeted Saturday morning. Remember, it's an illegal witch hunt. The whole Mueller report was thrown out because it was based on false created evidence that never really existed. It was a falsehood. They found there was nothing wrong with anything the president has done, and there was no collusion. So why are we still talking about this 3 years later? You know, and a good thing is in the news, a man in Ohio painted Trump 2020 on his lawn. Now, I love this man. I don't know his name. I didn't get the name of the article, but he also made sure that he mentioned that the paint that he used is biodegradable. Of course, to what do you call it? To bleeding heart liberals, to try to avoid them from trying to attack him for painting the grass and causing some kind of damage to our earth. Oh boy. Well, we're going to take a break for a moment, and we're going to come back at you in a moment here on Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert. Be right back. Welcome back. We're here at the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert. Thank you for coming to listen to us. We're here on the CTM News Network, and I also want to remind you, if you have a business or anything you're trying to build on, especially through all these things that have been going on with COVID-19, you may want to sponsor this program. It's not very expensive. It's very reasonable. You'll see the website on the screen. You can go to that website and express your interest to sponsor this program. We're on Monday through Friday from 8 for about a half an hour or so right now until we get a larger area on the channel. But we're on 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and you can add several spots within that time. If you're a politician looking for an opportunity for commercial, you can also, it doesn't make any difference to us if you're a Democrat, Republican, whatever you are, independent. If you want to advertise on the program, you're welcome to do so. The rates are very cheap, and we're reaching audience. Right now, my program at this time is growing, but we just started this program on Monday, and we're already reaching about 5,000 people. So that's a good chunk of people, and as time goes on, we'll be reaching more people. Well, once again, I want to point out something. We have another organization called Trump Train 2020. Trump Train 2020. Now, I'm going to be sharing something here, and this is kind of going to be the bulk of my thing today, because this upsets me very much, and I'm going to go through this, and I'm going to read it, and we're going to share this right now. And this is about our representative, Ilhan Omar. Ilhan Omar has been accused of sedition for her calls to dismantle the system and dismantle the United States as we know it, according to Town Hall. Reforms to criminal justice system and policies policing are not enough. They're not enough for Representative Ilhan Omar, the Minnesota Democrat, said Tuesday that America's system of oppression in all sectors must be torn down. No wonder we got problems in Minnesota and these different cities. Then goes on to quote, as long as our economy and political system prioritize profit without considering who is profiting, who is being shut out, we will perpetuate this inequality. Give me a break. Omar said during a press conference on Tuesday, we cannot stop criminal justice system. We must begin the work of dismantling the whole system of oppression wherever we find it. Give me a break, lady. You sought the asylum in this darn country from your country. Give me a break. Give me a break. Omar said that includes that includes in education, housing, health care, employment, and in the air we breathe. The squad members' radical statements appear to align with Joe Biden's pledge to transform the nation if elected. You know, Joe Biden is talking about dismantling charter schools. One of the greatest things this nation has ever come up with. Charter schools is a good thing. The school choice. He wants to dismantle that. You elect him, you elect him in imprisonment in your home. Because the Democratic Party will keep you locked up in your home forever if they can. The squad members' radical statements appear to align with Joe Biden's pledge. Conservatives responded to her radical calls. Would any non-Western country permit the absurdity of allowing an immigrant to come here, obtain political office, and then openly work toward the goal of dismantling the very nation that gave her refuge? No, they wouldn't. Neither should we. This is by Matt Walsh on his blog. This country gave Ilion everything. She came here for refuge and received it, and then was quickly given power and prestige beyond the imagining of most natural-born citizens. She should live every day in gratitude, but instead she despises America and most of its citizens. So Minnesota, you need to be listening to this, and you need to vote her behind out of office in November. Then she goes on and she says, America is not a system of oppression, Matt Getz tweeted. Yesterday, Basemented Biden, this is a new name for him, Basemented Biden said he wants to transform America. Today, a House Democrat said she wants to dismantle our entire system. Now again, I'm reading you an article and some dissonance, Trump reiterated his administration's support for the people of Venezuela and Cuba. And I applaud him on that very effect, since really the guy that used to be the head of Cuba, the one that died, not Cuba, but Venezuela, actually both of them was against America. They hated us. Then he says here, Trump goes on to say, we are standing with the righteous leaders of Venezuela, Juan Guaido, Trump said, adding that he had ended the Obama-Biden sellout to Castro regime. And that's true. During the midterms, Obama was in there. He was a sucking up to Castro and all the mess and the garbage that Castro and his brother did. You know, how do you suck up to people like that? That's because they want us to be a socialist nation, and it's not going to happen. If necessary, we'll take up arms and fight, we did in the revolution, to keep this country free and a republic, a free republic. Trump laid out a similar message at an earlier event Friday as he met with leaders of the U.S. Southern Command to review the counter-narcotics operation in the Caribbean. An effort of his administration has described partly as an attempt to intercept funds going to the regime of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. We're going to fight for Venezuela, he said, and we're going to be fighting for our friends from Cuba, Trump said. Last year, Guaido, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correct, but Guaido, I believe it is, who was then Venezuelan National Assembly president, took over the role of interim president, replacing Maduro. Washington's early support for Guaido helped him gain diplomatic recognition for about 60 countries, but a series of sanctions against Venezuela and Cuba and a proposal for peaceful transition presented by the U.S. State Department have failed to persuade Maduro to leave office. So we're going to probably have some issues going on there. In Atlanta, Perez Fernandez, Deputy Communications Director of State's Party women's election, almost a quarter garbage. It is interesting to me that the media picked a day Trump was in town to report, quote unquote, the largest single day increase in the state has seen thus far. No wonder the president is losing confidence in Fox News, because this came out of their news reporting as well. Fox News, please do not succumb to the left's or the radical left's rhetoric, please. Trump allies in Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis and Miami-Dade County Mayor Carlos Jimenez are both facing criticism for their handling of the pandemic. DeSantis downplayed the outbreak early on, but he has since been forced to pause the safety